Guess what we're making today, y'all? Ooh, steamy. Hold on, let me help you. There you go. Gonna have to add to it, but that right there, crock pot apple butter. Go over here. Canner's still out. Oh yeah. That's the peels and the cores and the juice. Guess what we're doing today? We're doing apples. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the homestead. Today it is apple day. What kind of apple things are we going to make?
Apple butter.
Apple butter, apple jelly, apple sauce, and then if there's anything left over, we're just going to can them up for later use, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've already got, I showed you in the beginning, one crock pot that we stuffed full of apples yesterday evening, and we're going to add some apples to it because it's cooked about halfway down. We have a pot of apple peels and cores that we're going to use for our juice for our jelly. We may do a batch of peels to make apple cider vinegar. Anything else? You want to explain the handy dandy tool we're going to use?
This is our apple peeler.
Okay, give them a demonstration. If you don't already have an apple peeler and a corer like this, you can buy them pretty well any farm store, and I'm sure you can get them online. They make really fine spiral slices, so this is good for something that you want to break down, such as apple butter, apple sauce, that type of thing. If you're needing bigger, thicker slices, say just for canning or for apple pie, you're going to have to hand slice those because this might make it too thin. I mean, they're pretty thin. Let me see here what we can get for you. They're pretty thin, so they may not hold up well for apple pie. But when you have a large amount of apples, and we do a lot of the other stuff, not just apple pie, this is a big help to us. So you see the 3 prongs here. Now I will say, for us, this is probably my 3rd one because we go through a lot of them. Another downfall is if you have very large apples, they may not work well on this. This is small to medium apples do okay. Small does best. But you just try to make sure it's nice and even and centered. Keep it steady. I'll bring you around on the other side or go above so that you can see exactly how the blade works. And there's your apple. How cool is that? You want some?
Yeah.
He eats a lot of the apples. He likes them. That's his favorite. You've got your nice thin peels. You've got your core. And then I'll bring you up so you can see it from above exactly how it works.
Whoa.
As it peels, it also slices. Always make sure to force your apple all the way through this ring. This is your blade. This blade is adjustable. I actually had to adjust it yesterday because it was too far back. So depending on how deep you need this blade to go, you can adjust it by just turning this wing nut here. Alright, go ahead and take them all off and we'll let you do another one. As he eats. Take your core off. There you go. Grab your peels. I do like to use an older plastic tablecloth because this is a messy job, whether for your counters or for your, wait buddy, or your table. We're using our table right now. There you go. Load her up, get it nice and straight, best that you can. You can pull this down for safety purposes. And then bring it up. Go ahead. One more time.
Whoa.
Steady. We're going, even though it's complaining. So now we're going to get several of these peeled up because we need it for both the apple butter and for the applesauce. It's just a spot. It's alright. If you get a little bit of skin, that's just your personal preference, whether or not you want to keep that skin or peel on. If there's a little bit on there, it's not a big deal. It'll break down. Just crank her back. Ta-da. Some of the peel got away. So I'm going to back it out. It's alright, we still have the apple here. Let's try it again. All there is to it. Super simple. Now is the time to work on the apple butter. Last night we started with a full, beyond full, crock pot full of the apples that we quartered and peeled. I mean, it was up to the point that the lid wasn't on there, and then as it broke down, you can see how much it shrunk. So we're going to add some more apples in. Okay? And we're going to mix it up. We want to get as much as we can out of this. And it's going to shrink down a lot more. I normally do this in the roaster pan, but this is a small batch just for my family, not necessarily for everyone we know. Alright, that should be alright for now. I can always add a little bit more. I am going to go ahead and, actually, I have my sugars and stuff out, but I'm debating now. I'm going to go ahead and add the apple cider vinegar, probably about half a cup. I'm going to go ahead and get my lid on. And it's okay if it sits up a little bit and doesn't clamp down. That's not a problem at all. This is going to cook on low. Actually, I have it on warm because it was done. So I'm going to put it back on low for about 10 hours. Or if you're starting this in the evening, just do it overnight. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to stir in all of my sugars. I'll tell you what to add here in just a little bit. And then we'll let it cook a little bit longer. This is a long process. Apple butter is not a quick one-day deal. It takes a couple days to get a nice, dark, flavorful apple butter. But this apple butter will be done tomorrow afternoon, more likely than not. And then we'll go from there. But anyway, this is what it's at. This is step 2. This is the second round of apples. He has gotten really good at using this slicer.
3, 2, 1. Whoa, boy. Oh, boy.
Keep going.
Whoa.
Uh-oh, it crunched. Take it off there and fix it.
Ooh, seeds. More seeds.
More seeds. Oh, that's a good thing. At least you got some seeds.
More seeds.
He's decided he's going to plant some of these to make a tree. To plant a tree. Take it off to the side, and I'll do it by hand. Get you a different one.
More seeds.
We've decided that we're going to do apple cider vinegar too. If you look closely behind him, there's 2 other gallon-sized jars that I've already got filled. And once we're ready with this one, we'll show you how to do it. Because all of our apples have went to apple butter, applesauce,
That one crunched it.
and apple jelly, right?
Right.
So we're not going to can any just apple slices, after all. Instead, we're just making other apple stuff. So by the time this video is done, it's going to be 4 ways to use fresh apples, to preserve them. To last us for the winter time. But anyway, he wanted footage of him doing this.
This is the piece of crunch apple.
Yeah. This is Miss Mouse. Hello, Miss Mouse. Yes. She's bumping up against me. Come on, keep her going.
Oh boy. This
It's
one
alright,
might
keep her
crunch.
going, keep her going.
Crunch.
Alright, he's in need of assistance. Okay, we've got apple butter in this crock pot. We have peels and cores in this pot that have been cooking since yesterday evening. So they're broke down. That's going to be the jelly. And this little pot is going to be the applesauce. Am I backing you out there, buddy?
Yeah.
Get over here. Come here. He wants to be seen. Be seen. Anyhow, we're going to go ahead and put this on. I'm probably going to put it on a medium-low heat to start until it breaks down. Come over here by me so they can see the pot a little bit. There you go. Until this breaks down. And then it's supposed to take an hour overall. So about 30 minutes in, once I see it start to break down and I'm able to stir it, I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of sugar. I don't want too much sugar in this applesauce because this is for my grandbaby. And these apples are yummy on their own, aren't they? Mm-hmm. 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 So I might do just half a cup of applesauce, and then we're going to, you know, when it comes to cooking and canning, it's all to taste. It's going to be the same way with the apple butter. So I've got it on a 4, so it's a medium-low heat. If I need to turn it up to a medium heat, I can, but for the first 30 minutes or so, I'm going to leave it on that. I'm going to watch it break down. After the first 30 minutes, I'm going to add half a cup of sugar. Let it continue to break down. Once it's done, if I need to add sugar to taste, I will let you know. Once this is completely cooked and broke down, depending on the smoothness, we may or may not get out our stick blender. So this is going to be the applesauce. This is some of the pits and peels for the jelly. And this is the crock pot apple butter. Let's go check out the final thing that we're doing with them. Okay. Our final project of the day is apple cider vinegar. I've already begun these two. It's full of peels and cores. Let's see if I can spill it. Peels and cores in a gallon jar. You can do this in any size jar though, because there's no specific measurement. Basically, whatever jar you have, put peels and cores up to the top. Fill it with good clean water until it covers the apples, peels, and cores. I put in 2 tablespoons, give or take. I do eyeball it a little bit. Into here. Let's show them that. Excuse them all, good sir. You can stay. This one here's got water in it. They're sticking up a little bit. I've got a little dab of sugar we're going to put in here. I'm going to take my spoon and just kind of work it around a little bit. Get it through there as much as possible. And this is going to ferment. What we're going to do is we're going to leave it. Hand me that towel right there, Bubby. Leave it in these jars for 2 weeks. Okay? Keep an eye on it. Don't just leave them and let them go for 2 weeks and don't check on them, because you want to make sure to kind of move your peels and everything around so that they all have time in the water. Gives them that chance to be safe from the mold. If you do find any mold, you need to get it out of there. Okay? I have 2 of these coffee filters because they're really thin. They seem to be thinner than normal. And I have a rubber band, but you can use string. You can use whatever it is you have. I have a lot of rubber bands here. Let's find a good one. Okay. And we're going to go around the jar to hold this down so no bugs or anything else can get into it. But it can still burp as much as it needs to. Check on it, preferably daily, to make sure everything looks okay and that it's doing what it should. After 2 weeks, thank you, sir, we're going to strain this. Once we strain it, we're going to put it back in jars, cover it up with the coffee filters yet again for up to a month. And this is basically where you just need to monitor it to see how it goes flavor-wise. You know, you can check it. But approximately a month after this first 2 weeks is over, the extra month, then you should be able to, if you want to do a final strain, you can. You really shouldn't need to, but you can. And then you can put it in jars and cap it with a regular lid, and it'll be shelf stable. I have no idea how much we're going to get out of this because these jars are pretty full. But it would be nice to get, let's see, there's 3 gallons here. It'd be nice to get 1.5 gallons. That'd be half. We'll see, and we'll give an update on this. But this was the final project, and actually the easiest one. It involves no cooking, water, a little bit of sugar, peels, cores, jars, and coffee filters, right? And have you looked at the cost of apple cider vinegar lately? Make your own. It's super easy. You can use it for cooking. You can use it for cleaning. Now is the time that we use the mill to strain all of our peels and our apple cores. As you can see by looking, it's translucent. Mr. Jesse has the plunger in case we need it. Miss Petunia is doing the cranking. They may switch off back and forth. As you can see, this is coming through this end, which will run back through a second time. And all of the juice and the pulp and the goodness is coming through down here. There's plenty of juice in here. as you can see. Once I put it through this, it's just going to go straight through. Jesse, you might have to plunge it for. You don't got to go crazy. They're not hard. It's falling apart, which is good. Makes it easy. I have not added any sugar to this. All I did was throw it directly into the pot, and I put water to just cover the peels, nothing crazy. And then I let it go, and I let it simmer through the evening and kept it warm through the night to get lots of good juice out of it. You getting it? Look, almost looks like potato peels down here at the end. We use this for our tomatoes in the summertime. You can use it for grapes. This could feasibly be used for your applesauce. I mean, we could try that. It might make it the consistency we need without having to get the stick blender out. I've never used it for applesauce, but I may leave it out. It's out anyway. There it goes. Can you see it coming down? All right, let's crank it. This is going to make excellent jelly. Now we have to decide, do we want regular apple jelly or do we want apple pie jelly? The apple pie jelly is what we use for, okay, I'm getting splished. The apple pie jelly, we use the seasonings and brown sugar, and it's really yummy. But then sometimes you just want a nice, clean apple taste. So we got to figure out what we want there.
Apple pie jelly.
Apple pie. Vote for apple pie. I'm just bringing it in a little bit. Jesse boy, will you go get us a spoon? We're going to rake out this pulp right here. I say this every time. Anytime you work with preserving your own food, the aroma, the smell is just
Metal
heavenly.
or wooden?
Just a little metal spoon out of the drawer, just to kind of help scrape this out. This does tend to drip, even when, if you buy one of these, and you can find them at any farm goods store, I'm sure online, they do tend to drip. So I have a towel down here in the floor at my feet, and then I have a little small blue shop towel underneath the strainer here on the one end. All right.
Sponge.
Just one, just to help it down, because I don't feel anything in there right now. Keep going. These cores are so soft, I mean, they're just mush, which is what you want. Okay, we're going to let you go. You don't want to watch this whole process, I'm sure. And we'll show you the finished product. Alright, this is what it looks like. There's no seasoning, no sugar, nothing added to it. There's some of the pulp. It is mostly juice, but it's going to be yummy regardless. We're currently running the peels through a second time, so they're super dry. After this, I've already rinsed the pot that it was in. We're going to put it back in the pot. And we'll either make jelly tonight or tomorrow. I'm not sure. This video is going to be a couple days in the making, but hopefully you get lots of good ideas on what to do with a bushel of apples. All of this is being made from one bushel. Look at that pulp, y'all. Here's what the pulp ended up looking like by the time we got done with it. Isn't that crazy? Look how dry it is. This still won't go to waste. This is going to go to the chickens. Anyhow, this is our, I'll bring you a little closer. I'll say that a lot, if it will allow me. I know the lighting's not the best. Here's our finished product. See, there's plenty of pulp in there. It's not just all liquid. It's nice and loose. This is just peels and cores. Almost a consistency. It's like a loose applesauce, but this won't be applesauce. We've still got that on the books. This is jam, or it will be. But that's how it looks like after we ran it through the strainer. And this is all that was left. And we had a good gallon jar or so full. So a gallon jar of this turned into this. Can't beat it. It's been about 30 minutes. This is the progress on the applesauce. Obviously, the ones on top are not breaking down a whole lot yet, but underneath, there's quite a bit of juice. I did go ahead and add just a little bit of lemon juice to this. I don't think it's necessary, but I did it just in case. But as you can see, as I stir, the bottoms broke down quite a bit. So another half hour probably will be fine. I'm going to go ahead and add a little sugar to this once I get it stirred in. And if you remember, this was full and up and over the top a little bit. This is how much it's broke down already. So it takes a lot of apples to make just a little bit of applesauce or apple butter. Okay, I'm going to add the sugar now. Just a basic white granulated sugar. You can add honey. You can add whatever you want. That was not quite half a cup, I think. Like usual, I eyeballed it, but it's breaking down really fast. So, whoop, I just slung over my pan. Yeah, looks good. So we'll check back in on this in about half an hour. Okay, we're straining the applesauce. You can start cranking. I did not add any more than the 1/2 of a cup of sugar to this because it was really good just the way it was. This is going to be great. Look at that.
Swallowed. Suck.
Whoops. A little bit of the seeds from the last of the pulp I'm just going to fish out. Just to be safe. I think that's going to make excellent applesauce. I like that we took this extra step to get it really smooth. I mean, you don't have to do this if you like your applesauce chunkier. But I am making this for my little snow bunny, and she likes applesauce this way, so. This will not take very long to process. Once we get everything strained, we're going to put it in jars.
It's coming.
I'm not sure what size I want to use yet, if I'm going to do half pint or pint. Depends on how many jars I have. But, regardless, you only have to water bath this for 20 minutes. 9 pints of applesauce. That's not too bad. I'm pretty proud of it. We're wiping the rims to make sure they're nice and clean. Always feel for chips, chunks. Always inspect your jars for cracks. I have a lot of clean lids, clean rings. I had a little taste test, and this applesauce is awesome, y'all. Pretty good stuff. The water bath canner is right next to me, warming up. This is not quite a pint jar. This is actually a store jar. Hopefully the lid fits, because I didn't check before I did. Let's check it right now, shall we? Right on. Works fine. Alright. Let's get them on. I have a variety of jars. This is an old one, because it's got the lines on the side to help you grip the jar. It's got the heavy shoulder. I love old jars. New jars are not worth a hoot compared to the old ones. Truth be told, they're probably done on purpose. Right? I'm not going there. You go there yourself. Alright. Okay, everything is ready. It's warm, but not overly hot. My water is the same way. Keep your temperature as equal as possible. Okay. Everything's in. Let's drop it down to make sure our water level's fine, but it should be. Oh yeah, plenty good. I'm going to put the lid on this. Once it comes to a rolling boil, 20 minutes in the canner on the timer. Okay. I went ahead and just pulled them out of the canner and didn't video it. Because my first couple of jars did try to siphon on me, this one kind of, see a little bit of stuff at the top there? These two are the two that tried it when I tried to pull them out of the canner too quickly. Because they did do that, that could risk my seal. So I'm going to mark them. Once they sit for 24 hours, I'm going to clean them thoroughly and check my seal and remove my ring. And those two will get used first regardless, just to be safe. They could seal and be perfectly fine, but there's no harm in being cautious and making sure. So the seals will be tested thoroughly, and they will be marked and used first. Okay, we're about 4 hours in. We've got a lot of liquid that has to evaporate off, so I'm going to leave the lid kind of cockeyed off of it for a little bit. This is the top layer that I added in. They are breaking down. So it's definitely going to sit overnight, I'm sure. But I just want to give you an update on the apple butter. Still waiting on that. But they are breaking down. Go all the way underneath and bring it up and over. See? Lots of dark stuff up underneath there. So it'll be yummy. I'm going to add a half of a cup. Actually, this is closer to a cup. So let me correct it. A cup of brown sugar. I had this pre-measured from yesterday because I wasn't exactly sure when I was going to put it in. Ground cloves. We're going to do about half a teaspoon. It's early in the morning, so the cats are crazy. If you hear any noises in the background. Okay, half a teaspoon of ground cloves. Now, I will do this to taste. You gotta taste it and see if you like it or not. You know. It's so early and it's so chilly in here, which I love, but the kids are not gonna be happy. This is a tablespoon, so I'm gonna do about half. Because this is technically a half a batch for us. I normally make this in a much bigger pot, like a roaster pan. And then we have some allspice. And I'm gonna start with 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Once this is all mixed and tasted, you know, gotta taste test it, then I will make adjustments. The sweetness of your apples compared to the tartness. These are Golden Delicious apples, which do make really good apple butter. But, you know, it's different every time. Your apples are not going to be always the same. So sometimes you have to adjust your seasonings. But look at that beautiful color. It's very close, so it'll definitely be in the canner this afternoon. At any rate, oh, it already smells good. If they really made a candle that truly smelled like apple butter, that would be awesome. But I've not come across one yet. Or a wax melt or whatever those little smelly things are. Alright, well, good morning. We've got another long day of preparing these apples and getting them all done. Okay, it's been a little bit. So we're going to get out the handy dandy stick blender. If you don't have one of these, you need one. These things are awesome. I'm going to bring it in a little closer. Shop towels, of course, got to have shop towels. I did have this lid cockeyed to help evaporate some of the liquid. I still see we have some. So it's going to have to take a little bit longer. But I'm going to go ahead. See how nice and broke down it is? Alright. It's thick enough the spoon sits up top, huh? Alright. Here we go. You want it nice and smooth. Unless you like your apple butter chunky, but we like it nice and smooth. Look how good it looks now. Just about ready. That looks pretty good. Just about ready to can up. Smells delicious. Okay, let's give it a little taste. It's got a good thickness. Maybe just a little bit longer, but see how it's kind of sitting on top? So, we got quite a bit of the moisture out. Alright, let's take a little taste. Crock pot's a mess too. Here we go. A lot of tart. I'm not really getting as much spice as I thought I would. So we're definitely going to add some more in. So I think I'm going to go ahead, add another half a tablespoon. That's almost a whole tablespoon. Come on. Came out fast of cinnamon. And I really didn't even catch any cloves. So we're going to amp up the cloves a little bit. I don't know why I flipped the lid on it. Yeah, we're going to go way more. Let's do another half a teaspoon. Another half a teaspoon of cloves. So that would make it 3/4. Oh, here's my allspice. I'm really careful with the allspice and the cloves typically because it's pretty strong. And we're going to go another 1/4. That would make it half a teaspoon of allspice. And I may still have to add some sugar, I don't know. But I felt like it was more or less the spices that were missing. I'm debating, do I want to go ahead and add some sugar? Yeah, I think I will. Since I didn't add granulated sugar at the start of this, I only added brown sugar. We're going to go ahead and add about 1/2 cup of the granulated. It just needs a little something something. Apple butter, you know, like the applesauce, we added very little to it because I really wanted that apple flavor to come through. Apple butter, you still love the apple, but you want that spice. You want that hit on your senses, that warmth, that comfort, I guess I would say. So we're going to see if this makes a difference. I'm sure it will. I mean, these apples were excellent on their own, but... Alright, let's try it again. Hopefully this is it. Pretty good. She's ready to can. Let's get on it. Apple butter's ready. Look at that. Oh, yeah. I actually found some 1/2 pint jars, you guys. Brand new. Found them at my local home goods store, or I guess you'd call it a farm store, but it's a very small one, small owned. And they were $11.99 a dozen. Can you believe that? Highway robbery. I happened to have a coupon, a rewards coupon for $5 off, so I managed to get them with tax for about $8, which is used to be the norm for jars. I have the hardest time finding this particular size, but I go through a lot more of these than I do anything else too. I know I'm not the only one. Hopefully I can still find pints for a while. I'm only going to do 9 in the 1/2 pint jars. And then whatever I have left over, I'm going to go ahead and do in pints. Because I want to save some of my 1/2 pints for other stuff. I don't want to just use them all up. I've got a few here and there that I can add. This is the first time that I have found the Kerr brand jars in quite a while. Very long time. Months. I guess gone are the days of just rolling into the parking lot at the store and waltzing in and getting what you want. Okay. So we easily filled... Actually, I kept 8. I thought I did 9. Oh, I did. It's right here. Alright, 9 1/2 pints. We're going to go ahead and get these in the canner. Let me grab a pint jar to put my phone in, because we're going to finish this out with pints. Nice clean rag. Still have some shop towels. Pretty good when you ration shop towels, but Mama ain't playing. Don't nobody mess with my shop towels. They are for canning. They're just excellent for it. Jars are good and warm. Canner next to me is warming up. Alright. Brand new lids and rings. If you look though, I don't know if you can see it or not. They're not perfect. Look, there's a spot on there. And then some of them are kind of messy. Like they've got a little bit of the seal in there. Just aren't what they used to be, I tell you. It's sad. One more lid up. Alright, let's set them in the can. These aren't super duper hot, so I'm just holding them with my hands. All right. We could have fit a couple more jars, but I think 9 is plenty. And drop it down. I did put just a little bit of vinegar in this batch because of the pretty, I like when I do the half pints and it's something that might possibly be a gift, I go ahead and I use the vinegar just in case. They still get wiped off, but it just makes the process a little easier. So while that's ramping up, let's go ahead and start our pints. I've got 6 here. I'm just guesstimating. Look how pretty. Be pretty close, wouldn't it? Just a little more and I'd have 6. But we still want to eat some today. Oh, so close. Scrape the crock pot, lady. That's it. That's all I got. Close. But not quite. Oh, darn. We won't get to can this one. We'll just have to eat it. Isn't that a shame? That one will go right there. Okay, as soon as this canner gets rolling, I'm going to process this for 20 minutes. Same will go for this one. Here's a little tip for you. If you've got a jar that you're going to keep and eat immediately and you don't need a brand new lid for, or you have a ring that's a different color than the ones that you're canning, like this white one, I usually save these to mark the jar so it doesn't get confused by anybody else. And I also use old ones. This one, they don't always have writing, but this one does. Perfectly good for storage. That way you're not wasting good new ones for a jar that you're going to eat immediately. I keep everything. And it's not a bad idea for you to keep everything too, as hard as it is for this to be found. The half pints are out of the canner, and we just finished up with the pints. And the apple butter is officially done. There it is. Looks wonderful. I'm going to set it over here pretty behind the other ones. When we finish with all of our stuff that we're making, we're going to have it all set up over here so you can see what you can accomplish and preserve with 1 bushel of apples. So far we have 3 gallons of vinegar started. I have 9 pints of applesauce. I have 5 pints of apple butter, 9 half pints of apple butter, not 9 pints, 5 pints of apple butter. Next is the apple jelly. And then we'll be done finally. That's quite a bit for just a bushel of apples. I think we're going to close this one out. This is what we have. The only thing that we have left to finish is the apple jelly. We've gotten almost 3/4 of a gallon of juice from the peels and the cores. That's the only thing left that hasn't been processed. So here's our final count. We've got 9 pints of applesauce, 9 half pints of apple butter, 5, almost 6, here's the 6th one, pints of apple butter, 3-gallon jars of apple cider vinegar started. Hopefully we'll get 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons once it's done. And we'll do our best to show an update on this whenever it's time. And then we have our ½ gallon plus almost a quart jar, so almost 3/4 of a gallon of juice. And we're going to probably make apple pie jelly out of that. Sound good? Mm-hmm. So this is what we were able to get from 1 bushel of apples. And I sure do appreciate my friend that was able to help me to secure that bushel of apples. If you ever see this, thank you so much. You can do much more than this. If you want to take that entire bushel and make nothing but apple pie filling, you can slice apples and put them in a jar with a light syrup, which I thought I was going to do, but ended up not doing. There's a lot of other options besides this, just this, but this is what we got. And it took about 1.5 days worth of work, and we're still not done. I have other things to do, so this is going to go in the refrigerator for probably till tomorrow. Okay, Jesse Boy's got a joke.
How many cents does a skunk have?
How many cents does a skunk have? How many?
1.
1 cent. Stinky? Yeah. Do what you can right where you are, and thanks for joining us.
Psalms 34 verse 8, Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him.